speaker for this conference for the engineering pilot program is Kayode Oke. Kayode Oke is a chartered engineer in the United Kingdom. He has worked in different engineering roles, and he has proceeded from being an engineer, working in that engineering role, into running projects and all of that. So he's actually currently working as a project manager with a catalyst and manufacturing company in the UK. As an engineer, he has had a very versatile engineering career that spans engineering and project management. Therefore, he has a wealth of engineering experience across different economic sectors such as oil and gas, medical devices, and manufacturing. So this evening, I'll be bringing in Mr. Kayode Oke to come and speak to us on career paths in engineering. That is his own topic, which is career paths in engineering. And
okay, can everyone hear me? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Okay, I think I can see people responding. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a privilege to be a part of this and to be speaking at this forum today. I know that most of us are here and have high expectations. So hopefully I'm able to meet that and deliver value to you today. My topic is around having a successful engineering career. And I will be talking from my own experience and what I have done so far, what I believe having also helped and led engineering teams, helped mentor people to be the best they can be, even within the engineering field, and how they can, how you also can leverage on that. Can everyone see my slides, please? Hello, can everyone see my slide? Yes, okay, thank you. So as I said before, my name is Kayode Oke. I am a chartered engineer with the Institute of Engineering and Technology here in the UK. I studied in Nigeria, the Federal University of Technology, Akure, as a mechanical engineer. As part of my day-to-day job today, now I am into project management within engineering, taking products from concept to commercialization and ensuring that the business can make money out of the initial concept that they make. Aside from that, I also do some freelance type consultation for small businesses, and I also train as well. So basically, my story is that of I came into engineering because, of course, I liked the opportunity to be able to make things. And that was my initial drive. But as I got into the university, I began to see that beyond making things, I was also interested in how, not just making things, but also how it impacts the world and how it turns out to be a business. I began to think very carefully that, look, do I really want to just start making things, or what is in engineering for me as a person, not what the world says. I mean, at the time I went to school, engineering was it's just once it could at the time could just be one-sided. You see, is either you're a mechanical engineer or you're an electrical engineer or electronics engineer, civil engineer, and all of that. And at the time, I started thinking to myself that for some reason, I was exposed at home to lots of documentaries from Japan and the rest of it. And I started seeing things in terms of how technology was taking over and things like that. And I started thinking, wow, it means that in the nearest future, which is where we are now, it's not going to be about a single type of engineering. It's going to be about, it's going to be about the multi-skill, all of those skills coming together. And if you look at your phone, for example, your phone has in it hardware, that's mechanical engineering. It has software, that's of course software engineering. It has a bit of AI in it. It has electronics in it. And when it is being made, there is a bit of materials engineering going into it, ensuring that it is light enough, it feels right on your hand, and all of that. And I began to think that, look, where will I sit in the future as it relates to my engineering career? And that's my question to you today. I do understand that, okay, you might not know how you will get there. And at the time, I didn't know how I was going to get there. But being able to think and say, look, if I had no limitation, what is the future? What would I prefer the future to be for me in engineering? So I started pinpointing at the time as a 300, 400 level student, started thinking that, look, I want to be the person who pulls together all of these resources, the mechanical engineer, the electrical engineer, the electronics engineer. I want to be the person who leads them to be able to create something. And as I began to do research, I began to see that the best path for me is, of course, get into engineering, but go towards project management in engineering. And project management, most importantly, within manufacturing. And I didn't know how that was going to happen. So I just, at the time, of course, you don't easily have access to internet. So I just went straight to, I'll go to the cyber cafe and just begin to search and search and search. So I saw a course on project management. So I went in there, I did a course on project management. And as that began to happen for me, I began to see, whoa, I really like this thing. And my other question to you is, do you know yourself enough to know what actually works for you? Now, and I know that in life doesn't always give you what you want, and I will come to that because that's part of my story as well. But sometimes you have to first write down what you want in life, what you want from your engineering career, what you want from your engineering, what your engineering future is like. Because the most important person here, to be honest, for you, the most important person here, the most important person in your career, is not your boss, it's not the people reporting to you, it's not the company in which you work for, it is actually you. And when I understood that, I started taking these things seriously. So after my youth service, I couldn't get a job in Nigeria. To put it quite clear, I didn't, to some extent as well, I did not really search for after a while. And so I planned to leave the country for my master's. I came to the UK for my master's, and then I found myself in the oil and gas industry. Now, oil and gas industry was an industry I never wanted to be. Remember, I said I wanted to be in manufacturing. But the reality is that sometimes life pushes you to a place where you don't want to be. You just have to take it that way and still pay attention to where you're going. After a few years in the oil and gas industry, somehow within the oil and gas industry, I led the team that designed the umbilicals for Egina project. Some of you might know that project. It's the third largest deposit in West Africa and it's in Nigeria. And as soon as the oil price started going down, somehow the business I worked for just decided they were going to lay off everybody in my department, including myself. So they laid us off, which in a way was good, but at the time, of course, I felt bad. And as they laid us off, you see, I realized that, number one, I was already getting frustrated on the job anyway. It's not like I had any other job to go to, so that's why I stayed. But as they laid us off, I started thinking, wow, just the sight of a drop in fuel price, suddenly the company says, we don't want you again. After, you know, I mean, some of you might be able to relate with this. I mean, I worked so hard. I worked so hard for that company, right? But the reality is, it's not about working so hard. The company has to make money. And since the oil price was going down, they said, well, everyone needed to go. So I then realized that I need to start thinking about my career as my business. My career, my business. My career is not it's not my company, the company I work for. It's not necessarily their business. They can help me with it, but it's not their major business. Their own major business is to make money. Mine is to help them make money and tend to my career, right? So when I understood that, I started thinking about the future. What exactly did I want to be? And all of that. So I started re-strategizing. Yes, I was jobless for a couple of months. Yes, but I was really trying to find an inroad. You know, I already had project management certifications. I'd already led certain projects before. So when it came to a point though that I realized that, look, I was looking to change to a new industry. And in changing to that new industry, I wanted to be paid at the level I was paid in my previous industry, in the oil and gas industry. And I had no experience in this new industry until I got to the point where I could tell myself that, look, to be able to go in, I have to tell myself, look, nobody knows you in that industry. You don't have an experience in that industry. So you have to be willing to take a pay cut. And sometimes that might not be the case for everybody. But sometimes to get what you want, you might need to go low. And since then, I've gone past, of course, that level now. I'm about to commence a role as a senior program manager. And this is not, my story here is not necessarily to, of course, impress you in any way, but to show you that life happens. Life happens. I tell you, I was actually jobless for almost a year in trying to search for the right job, right? But life happens, and we have to be able to have certain mindset to be able to proceed and ensure that we have the right career going forward. Your dream is possible, even regardless of the challenges in which you face. So, for mindset you must have to thrive within your engineering career. The first thing is you have to think all the time. All the time, you have to think about the value that your skill brings. Don't just think that, oh, somebody needs to pay me this amount. No. Think about the value in which your skill brings. Is your skill good enough to be paid at that level? Is your skill good enough to be able to break through into that industry? Is your skill good enough to be able to provide commercial value? That's one. Then the other value you need to think about is the value of the product your company is making. Now, I know there are two different things, but let me talk about the company in which you work for. Now, when I was working within the oil and gas industry, we were designing the offshore structures and all of that for new explorations. So we were not into operations, we were just designing them. So we designed umbilicals, designed risers, designed pipelines. And the first thing that actually gets stopped when money dries up within any industry is the front end, which is the design stage. So immediately there was a drop in price. Operations was still going on, but they just said, oh, everyone in design, go away. Now, I like design, so it's not like I'm saying don't go for design. I'm just saying understand the dynamics of the business you're working for and your skill, your positioning within that business. Understand the dynamics within that. Okay, in your own skill as well, what skill do you have today that you think will provide value? It's not about you being able to create solutions. It's about you being able to provide lasting commercial value. Now, what is lasting commercial value? You know, there are certain things that people would be happy to have for free, but they are not happy to pay for. So you must get yourself to the level where you have skills that people are willing to pay for, that companies are willing to see. And I'm sure the other guys will go straight down into those skills and all of that. But this mindset you must have. How is my skills good enough? If it's not good enough, how can I prop it up? The business I work for, what value are they giving? What value are they giving? And how much? Somebody's typing something there. Okay, someone is talking about commercial skills. I'll come to that. So what value are they giving as a business? So come back to my slides. The other thing you must begin to think about is you need to start thinking about growth. Think growth. It is not what you are paid that really matters at first, and it is not what you are paid that matters at first. You know, as I said, I had to go down in terms of my pay because I needed to get into this industry. But what matters is not what you are getting paid. What matters is who you are becoming while you are doing stuff or wherever you are. You see, in fact, my first job in engineering, I went there and I begged them to work for free. Now, why did I beg them to work for free? Why did I beg them to work for free? I said they were not even trying to recruit anybody. I just said, please, can I just work for free? I will come day and night and work for free. Why? Because if I work in this oil and gas consulting firm for free, what will be on my CV after a year? It will say that I have experience working for that kind of firm. It doesn't say if it is for free or not. It says that I worked there. It says I have done this. And also I will begin to enhance my skill, and I'll be strengthened in the area of my skill. I'll be strengthened in my outlook and all of that. And many times I remember talking to a few young guys, not like I'm not young, I'm young as well. And I was telling them that, look, be willing to work for free. And they said, no, I'll prefer to go and do this and do menial jobs instead of working for free. Now, that is a very wrong mindset, because the first thing we must be thinking about in our professional lives as engineers is growth. Growth. The way things were done 5 years ago is different from the way things are done now. Now, when I was in university, I did not, there were certain things that was never taught in class. For example, I don't know if it's being done now, but when I was in university, they didn't teach me CAD. In fact, we had to go learn CAD by ourselves, right? And because we learned it by ourselves, there are certain things we didn't know about CAD. We just learned it by ourselves, and because we could draw a lot of stuff, we just thought, yes, we're good, right? Now, there are many things you will need to do where, in terms of your growth, you need to be deliberate about me growing. How do you grow? Growing is not just about reading or doing anything. It is also about pressing and saying, look, I will put myself forward. You see, your CV is good when it says, I can do this, I can do that. But your CV is way better when you can say, I have done this, I have achieved this, I have achieved that in projects, in doing stuff and all of that. So those are the things that is the second mindset you need to have. The other thing you need to have is we must begin to think beyond our locality, our desk, at your desk, your role in your place of work, or the field in which you work in and all of that. We must begin to think big picture. as I am on my desk running simulations or drawing one thing or the other, or fabricating this or maintaining that machine and all of that, what is the big picture? How does it affect the operations? How much does it cost the business? How can I improve here and impact the entirety of the business? And I know it sounds too big, but it's something that we need to work on and think about in terms of growing within our career. So don't just think about now. You have to start thinking strategically. Think about the future. For example, have you thought about your chosen career and where the world is going in that path? Have you thought about the industry you're in and the trends in that industry? Okay, for example, are you in the oil and gas industry? Do you know what the trends are going into the future? Some people are saying, oh, okay, that there will be no problem with oil and gas. It seems Dangote is having a refinery. Well, good luck to you. Dangote is having a refinery, fine. I believe that will be successful, but there will be, let's not kid ourselves, there will be definitely changes to the oil and gas industry, and we need to prepare for that. What industry are you? What is the long-term view for the future, right? So we need to think very carefully about that. So in your engineering career, there are basically a few parts, just a few, and this is just generic. It might differ from business to business or company to company that you may be working for. So the first, well, technical, business, your role might be purely technical, or you might be thinking, oh, okay, in the future, I see myself as purely technical. Or you might be thinking that, yes, I'm technical, but I want to veer into the business side of things as well. Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to stay in the middle where you want to be a technical leader? Take a technical leadership role where you have to think for the business as well. Now, every single time we get to a junction where you have maybe something about your career you're not happy about, it is important that you begin to check your roadmap. That look, where am I going with this thing? What is this? What this career? Where is it taking me to? Where is it taking me to? Now, and you might even be a student listening to me, and you should be asking yourself that question. What is the end point of this whole thing? Where is this actually leading to? And as we begin to do that, it's not about the limitations first. It's about the vision we have. It should be the vision first. Then we think about how we can go. We can break through the limitations. So of course, if you want to grow within the technical field, you can become a subject matter expert, a technical authority, a specialist. You want to be known for a single thing and all of that. You need to be able to write that down and have a goal that, look, this is where we're going. I don't necessarily care about being a subject matter expert. I'm more inclined to go down the business route. I'm actually within the technical leadership at the moment. What path are you going as a person? So I will just quickly skip. So let's look quickly at the ingredients for a successful career, and I'll try to run through this quickly before so that we can have some time for questions. So the first thing is, every single time I work with younger ones, and they're talking about their career, the first thing I like to let them know is there's nothing as important as showing up. When I say showing up, is getting involved in things. Being lackadaisical about life in general and expect life to pay you back doesn't happen. So you have to begin to try things and volunteer for stuff. show up in events. You will meet people. You can create relationship and all of that, but get involved in projects and stuff like that at your workplace. Like I said, it's not about what you are being paid. It's not about what you are being paid. I remember when I just started in the oil and gas industry as a graduate, I think a month into being a graduate, I wrote down what is needed for the next role above my role. What is needed for it? And I told myself, well, I will start operating at that level now. I won't wait for them to say, oh, you're not promoted and I'll start. No, anything I can do. If I can't do it, that's fine. If I can do it, that's fine. So I will start operating at that level now. So for you, what is showing up? What are you getting involved in? Does it correlate with where you're going? Does it correlate with your vision and the passion in which you have in your heart? The other thing is being proactive. Now, I remember I've seen this over and over again, where people advance in their career not because they got their job description done, but because they solved problems that were outside their job description. For example, there is a problem with the process in the business, and there is a lot of waste in the business. The guy comes up with a strategy to be able to undo or unpack the waste and ensure that that waste is turned around to money for the business. They get the proposal, the business gets the proposal, they implement it, and it works. And they just promote the guy simply because he was proactive enough to spot problems and begin to do something about it. Don't just watch and see people do things. Get involved. You don't have to get involved in, you don't have to do big things. It might be something as simple as, okay, I'm an electronics engineer, but because the world is going AI, and that is going to be supported by electronics. Can I learn something about AI that allows me to be better at my work, and I will implement this at my workplace, or I would implement this at my private project, or things like that. And we need to start thinking like this, be proactive and get things done. The other thing we need to do is think business. Employers are not, like I said before, employers don't necessarily care about, they don't care about you advancing your career per se. That's not their first point of call. They care about their bottom line, the profit and loss account. They want to know, are we making money and all of that? So what you want to be able to do every single time for any business you work for any organization you're a part of, think about the value chain within the business. How are they making money? How are they making money? How can I help them to enhance that process of their making money? Can I help them do things faster? Can I help them do things slow? Can I help them do things or eliminate some of the things that they are doing that they don't need to do it anymore? What can I do to ensure that it affects the profit and loss at the end of the day? So thinking this way helps us when you go for interviews as well. These are some of the things you need to, we all need to be able to show that, look, we care not about the salary we're giving, we care about providing value every single time. And that is what it is. Learn how to communicate. Now, this is a very important one. I learned this in a hard way while I was doing my master's. I realized that many times the guys that are really good technically, they do all of the work. They do all of the work behind, and they give it to one sharp guy that didn't do much of the work. And the guy goes, because the guy can talk, and the guy can write, can do presentations and all of that. He goes and he presents it and he gets the accolade for the work the technical guy did, right? And the reality is that as engineers, we must be able to communicate well and communicate the work we do, communicate our proposals and things like that. Because if we cannot do that, people will whoever it is will consistently have a lower perception of who we are. So communication is key to be able to have a successful career, not just for engineers, everyone. Communication, the ability to communicate, the ability to stand and speak. I mean, you want to lead a project of 400 million, for example, and you can't look into the face of the person interviewing you. Come on. Communication is not just about what we say, it's about the entirety of how we present our case. For example, today I'm speaking, of course, with my mouth, but I'm also using my slides as a tool of communication. That's the visual side of communication. So we must be able to learn all of the aspects of communication, learning how to write reports, how to write emails, and all of that. All of those things are important. See, I've worked with quite a number of engineers that think, oh, the most important thing is getting the engine fixed or getting this thing done and all of that. And when I get it done, that's my job done. Well, yes, that's your job done. But for you to be able to grow well, you must be able to present the job you have done well. You must be, we have gotten to the time in the world where you will have to let your light shine and be the one to shine the light on what you have done. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Nobody goes into a boardroom to speak for you without speaking for themselves first. So speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Not just, like I said, not just verbal. We must be able to write well, how to compose an email. And I know that for some people, you might be thinking, oh, that's a small thing. It's not a small thing. In the way the email comes across and all of that, those are quite important to the way people see you. You might be very good technically, but if people don't trust you enough to communicate to their client, if they don't trust you enough to communicate to the senior management, then you are not going to be trusted to move anywhere near those roles. Never. You're not going to be trusted to do that. The other thing we need to be able to do is to collaborate. Outside of work, think about how you can improve. Work with others. Are people having initiatives? Are people doing one thing or the other? Work with them. Even in the workplace, what people are looking for is someone who can work in a multidisciplinary team. I mean, a mechanical engineer who understands to some extent some electrical stuff, who understands to some extent some electronic stuff. He might not understand it fully, but he knows the basics of things. And knowing those basics, not just knowing those basics, but being able to work with other people who know more than him and understand and be a team player. It is important in this day and age to be that guy who is a team player, who works closely with people, and does the right things. Now, it is important that you do this. I've always said that your career is no one else's business but your business. Your real business as a career person, as a professional, is your career. So learning how to collaborate with other people. I mean, over the course of my career, I've worked not just collaborating with people physically, but also across countries. I remember working with some guys in Japan, and I learned a great deal how cultures are different. I mean, you can't just talk anyhow to them. The way they see things is different. The way they see things is different. The way they perceive things is different. And being able to have that emotional intelligence to know who you are speaking to, how they will receive things, and being able to work effectively with them, either face-to-face or remotely, that is important. Second to the last is join a professional network if you can. Join a professional network if you can. Now, when I say professional network, of course, the ones that come to mind is, for example, the one I belong to, Institute of Engineering and Technology. Yes, and I appreciate that some of these bodies, you would have to pay for them to be a member. However, there are some online forums, there are some networks, professional networks, that you don't necessarily have to pay, right? And they might not be as strong as the likes of IET or IMECI or Institute of Mechanical Engineers and all of that, but they you see, any network of people of like-mindedness, of like mind, is good, because number one, it creates credibility. Number two, it gives you an opportunity to build your social capital. You have more network, more influence. People begin, if you get involved in those networks very well, people will begin to know you. The amount of people that can speak for you increases, and all of that. So it is important that you don't just work in isolation as an engineer. Don't just work in isolation. Even if it's not a physical professional network, you must be able to come to a place where you have a group of guys you work with to be able to get that. The way you can bounce ideas, that you can get new information, that you can get opportunities to learn. This is important. It is important. Okay, so finally, last and not the least, but not the least, is to be courageous. You see, life throws curveballs sometimes. As part of my story, I told you that at some point I was without a job after I lost my job within the oil and gas industry. But getting to the point where you can still, you don't give up on that which you believe in, and chasing your dreams, saying that, look, I want to do this. Now, at some point, so when I was looking for a job, so some people came and said, okay, you're going to work in a bank and all of that. I don't have any problem with engineers that go there. I mean, it's everyone's personal decision and all of that. But I really, really wanted to make a difference within engineering. And that's what I wanted to do. So I turned it down. Someone very close to me as well turned down the banking job, saying that what I want to do is engineering. And sometimes you have to be courageous. And when life throws you a curveball, you have to be resilient, stand back up, because the fact that you didn't get it first time, the 20th time, I mean, does not mean you will not get it. And I would not lie to you, I had well over 20 rejections. 20, no. It's going to be around towards 100 rejections. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not even saying the people I applied to and they never came back. I'm talking about interviews I went and they said no. But you have to keep going and have that courage that, look, someday we are going to get this. So far, you are doing the right things. You see, it's important that we do the right things, because people don't pay for what you think your value is. People pay for the actual value they can get from you. So far you keep doing the right things. Stay courageous, be confident, be confident, be confident. I don't let those setbacks throw you off or take your self-confidence away. Be confident that there is still a way through. So somebody has typed something into the chat, just wanted to share. Someone is asking if they will receive the slides for the conference. Yes, you will. You will receive PDFs, I believe. Is there an opportunity to network? This conference is not a networking conference, but there would be other conferences in the coming months that will be purely for networking. All right. So let's be courageous and say, look, yes, life has given me some lemon. I would make lemonade out of it. And it's not just a motivational speaking thing. I'm a proof that that can actually happen. So be courageous. Go for what you really believe in, and you will get it. Of course, open your eyes, open your ears to advice from people who you trust, can give you the best advice, especially in the industry. Keep your eyes peeled for opportunities, but stay courageous. It's only the person who takes the shot that can score a goal. If you don't take the shot, you can't score a goal. All right. So the other thing, so I didn't mention one thing. One thing I did not mention is never stop learning, and I've just mentioned it. So the fact is, if you do everything I've mentioned today, pay attention to your growth and all of that, all of those things are learning. Ensuring that you are in the space and the right environment to be able to, when I say right environment, in terms of right network, to be able to grow, find opportunities and all of that, that will give you a good stepping stone to a lifelong habit of learning. And that is key for engineers. About 10 years ago, the Python program was not as used as it is today. But look at where we are now. I mean, 15 years ago, I don't think Instagram even existed 15 years ago. So we need to realize that as the world is consistently changing, the solutions in which engineers should change. The kind of phones we were using while I was in university, it's not the kind of phones we are using now, because life changes and the solutions we as engineers would bring will change. It means that our skills will change, our outlook. Are you changing in that direction? Are you changing in the direction in which the world is going? And are you conscious of chosen field? Are you conscious of that? Or are you just playing, someday someone would have mercy on me and give me a job? Yes, that could happen. But if you want a rewarding, so that is the end of my presentation. And I will open the floor for questions. Any questions from anyone? Never stop learning, never stop growing. Professional networking, yes, that is absolutely right. Building careers in chaotic environment like Nigeria can be quite an hassle. How does one grow an engineering career in a place where they won't even allow you work for free? Now, the idea of working for free, actually, the first time I came about the idea of working for free was in Nigeria. I was in Nigeria when I first saw that, oh, you can get a foot in the door by asking to work for free. And I know that that it is hard to come by. Anywhere in the world, it is hard to come by. It is not because I'm in the UK. In fact, being a Black person and you just walk up to a company that most of them why? And you say you just want to work for free and you want to work professional, not menial job. It, it looks a bit fishy, especially if you live in the area of the world where blacks are not trusted. Now, I'm not saying that's where I live. I'm just trying to explain this. But when it comes to Nigeria, I know that we do have challenges in Nigeria. I worked in CFL Motors for a while in Nigeria, but the reality is, if you don't ask, you don't get. And because the first 10 people have said no, does not mean that the idea does not exist or the opportunity will not come. So it is important that we keep looking. We keep looking. I just told you about how long it took me to change industries when I left the oil and gas industry. So yes, things might be hard, but you must have a mindset where you think, look, there's somebody must bulge for me. Somebody must bulge for me. Somebody must give me a chance, right? And of course, at some point when I was searching for almost a year, I felt that as sometimes I just come back home and all of that. I'm not one that talks. I'm not one that believes. I believe that there is racism, but I don't believe that everything is about racism, you know. But there are times I just sat down and I think, is it because I'm black that nobody wants to give me this? But the truth is, like I said, be resilient, keep going, and all of that. Now, you mentioned about maybe the company will not allow you grow or something. If I get that question right, the reality is that yes, there are businesses that growth, not just in terms of opportunities, but even career progression in the business is next to nothing. What you want to do is to find opportunities to be able to give value in that business, and then take that value outside and say, look, I have done this for that business. I can do this for you. Then they give you something higher than where you are coming from. But you have to have that not social proof, but some technical proof or proof that you have done this before. And the whole reason for working for free is not just because you want to dash people your time. It's so that you can have that proof that I have done it before. You can have that experience and say, okay, I have done it before, and things like that. And I remember a few people that I've seen that went to ask people to work for free, especially even in Nigeria. Some of them never got paid, but many of them, although when they started, they said they're going to work for free, the person who employed them realized how hard they were working and just said, look, my conscience will not allow me let you work like this for free. I'll give you a token. It might not be something large, but I'll give you a token. Now that sets them, that of course sorts financial issues, but also it gives them an opportunity to be able to say, yes, I've achieved something in this business, and being able to detail that in their CV. So I hope I've been able to answer your question on that. I'm at a point in my structural engineering career where I am gradually breaking out of paid employment, having worked for about a decade. What's your advice for a 21st century startup engineering company? Now that's slightly different from what I have spoken about. But the first thing is you have to. One thing I've realized is you because of your personal commitments for finances and all of that, be careful in making a sudden switch, because life as an employee and life as an entrepreneur are 100% separate. They are different. You don't just think about the technical work, you also think about the business. You also think about paying suppliers. You also think about paying those who work under you. So ensure that break is not sudden. The other thing is, of course, which means that you have to do things on the side, ensure that you build a clientele, ensure that you build a clientele that can sustain you. And again, I'll go back to that proof. You want your business now, not just you now, your business to be able to show that, look, we have delivered this for this person, or that for that person, or that for that person. And no matter how small it is, it begins to increase and all of that. And being consistent in putting out, in bidding for jobs and things like that is quite important if you're making that switch. Stopping and starting will not help you. You did it this month, and maybe next month you decided to slow down for another 5 months, then started again. No, every single time you do that, it's like you're starting from the beginning again. So it is important that you stick to it. But if you want more on that, because this session is actually for career, you can contact the convener and then we can talk more for free. Of course, there's no thing about that. What can you say about taking roles other than engineering just to pay up bills while searching and building engineering? My situation right now. Now, so again, I can't say much about that because it's based on your personal situation. And the reality of life is that you have to pay those bills. And if you need to take those roles, you should take them. I'll take what I said back. I can say something about it. You should take that role if you are convinced that there is no way out. If you think that there is a way out, well, you can just hold on. But if you think there is no way out and you really have to pay bills, not that you want to show people that you have a job, is you genuinely need to pay bills, then take that role. But what you need to do is either keep looking on the outside. Well, you need to constantly keep looking on the outside, but also look inwardly and look at what you can be doing on the side that has a feel of engineering, that can keep your engineering wheel greased. I mean, it keeps you going in engineering. The other thing is, while you're working in this place, there are certain skills that you will need as an engineer. Keep taking note of them. It might not be an engineering skill, but it's needed to have a successful engineering career. Keep doing more of that. And of course, do something on the side that gives you an opportunity. When I did not have a role and all of that, I started doing trainings. That's when I started doing training. I started doing online trainings and all of that. Gave an opportunity to show people that I am not just an engineer. I also train people. So some roles I got was because I had that skill set as well on your dreams, right? What can you say about one that offer his work for free, but has never been called? So keep trying to offer it for free. Like I said, there was a time I was constantly offering the code in your face. Also, don't offer everybody for free. There are some, I mean, God works in mysterious ways. It's not offer just everybody. There are some roles, possibly you can do that. But if somebody is willing to pay and there's a vacancy out, put in for that. And so God works in mysterious ways. It doesn't really have to always be for free. But if you are not getting it, keep going, or then also look at your skill. Are you presenting your skill differently or separately? What can you do? Are you speaking the language of? Are you speaking the language of the industry, or are you just saying, "Oh, me, I just want to work for free," and you're just beggarly about it, not stating what you can actually do for them? See, that is important. Nobody wants somebody to come who they can't see how they can offer value. to come on board just to be doing things for free. No, you have to be able to, remember communication, you have to be able to communicate what you can do for free. What exactly can you do for free? It's not, what have you learned that you can actually do for free? Have you, is it, do you have, and does that skill that you know or have learned, is it something that they need? If they don't need it, they won't call you. So it is important that we look at the skill, our skill level. Is our skill level strong enough? Is the business needing that skill? And if the answer is yes, then we ask the question. If they say no, we look for someone else who can use our skills, and we try to press. And of course, your network, those who are close to you as well, speak to them and all of that. Things can come from anywhere. I'm a testimony of that. That things can actually come from anywhere. It might not even be from somebody you know. So keep doing this. Keep doing it. I know it can be frustrating, but keep going on that. When you said you were not able to work for a year at some point, how were you able to manage the situation? What were the pressures you faced? You're getting personal here. All right. How do you overcome that? Okay. When I was not able to work for a year, I hope I'm seriously out of time, but I'll try. When I was not able to work for a year, of course, the major thing is, believe it or not, I just gotten married. 6 months into getting married was when I lost my job. So I had some savings, and in a couple of months, the savings was gone and all of that. It's just life situation. I mean, well, I had to downsize, move from 2-bed flat to a 1-room and all of that. It's just normal life stuff, right? And what pressures did I face? So it's just normal, the male African pressure of not getting a job and all of that. Yes, I that was when I started my consulting business. Now I started business without a client, so it's not like I started. So I just started then doing trainings for free and all of that. So as I was training people for free, I got an opportunity to train for a few cash. It was not much, but that way my skill was increasing. Yes, my social status was reducing, but my skill was increasing, and that's what happened. But we've been able to overcome that by consistently doing that. And since you asked a personal question as well, also believing in God. So how can you handle a situation when the organization you're working has a culture that doesn't suit your personal vision? And I'll take the last question as well. I have 9 years experience in banking, and I have resigned from the banking job. Though I read petroleum engineering, and I am finding it difficult to get a job in engineering because I don't have experience in it. Wow. Now, I'll answer the first one in terms of the organization in which you work for. If the organization in which you work for their culture does not align with your personal vision, stay there until you get the one that you think aligns with your personal vision. The reality of a career, a life of a professional, is that you are in a business to solve the problem for the business. Yes, your career is your business, but your career thrives when you are able to help others, which is the business or the organization in which you work for. Never get frustrated or fight people or get irritated and all of that. Yes, you can get frustrated inside, but whenever you walk up to the organization the next morning, get yourself fired up, because you see, frustration is like smoke. You can't hide it, right? You can't hide it. And I have seen this kill people's career a lot. where they begin to act up and all of that. Ensure you don't get yourself there. Yes, keep looking outside, keep looking for a new job and all of that, but do the best you can in that place. Keep suggesting, keep writing proposals on how you think things should change and how you think things should be. Keep doing that. But remember, frustration and dissatisfaction is like smoke in one's career. It can't really be hidden. So you must be able to take your personal frustrations and sort of subdue it. I've worked in places where I was frustrated, so I understand that you can't necessarily eliminate it, but ensure that you subdue it and don't act based on that. Do the right things, write what you think should change, invite people for meeting, do presentation, tell them that this is how we believe things could change and all of that. If they won't come for the presentation, send an email and all of that. I mean, well-structured email, not things that you're just throwing about, something that shows that you have thought about what needs to be changed well. Of course, understand the politics in the place as well. One thing I'm also passionate about is politics within workplace. Many people don't understand how to do the politics within the workplace. So you need to be mindful of that as well. Okay, thank you. Somebody just jumped in. Whoa, is that VC? That's Adewale Adeniyi. It could be VC. So yes, in terms of 9 years experience in banking sector, I tend to agree with the person who has just answered, saying that you need to look at the skills you have had in the banking sector and see how that can be translated into any sector in which you need to go into. You see, it is best you leverage on what you have done rather than a 5-year course you did 10 years ago. That is really hard. So it is important that you do that. I've been told that my time is off and I've overrun. So at this point, I would like to say thank you so much. If you have any more questions, you can send it you can still send it and we will try to answer it in an email. And God bless you guys.